Be very careful trying to save a few bucks buying a cheap winch from an online auction site. Is it really worth the risk? We bought this cheap winch to compare it to the trusted and proven Domin8r X from Adventure Kings. I'm going to pull both of them apart to compare the difference inside and out. First though, just compare the size of the Clevis hooks. The Domin8r X uses a 1/2 inch hook, while this other winch only uses a 3/8. The pin is a larger diameter, so it's stronger, just like the rest of the hook. Next, compare the control boxes. This winch uses old style solenoids with a lower amp rating. They're not waterproof and are much more prone to failure. That means the control box itself needs to be sealed. We tested it in a tub of clear fresh water and it didn't take long to leak. The Domin8r X uses a 500 amp Thompson solenoid that's completely waterproof with heavy duty connections. Even the wiring in the Domin8r X is a heavier gauge, so it'll transfer more power and run more efficiently. Plus, it has an isolator cutoff switch on the main power lead. Disassembling the winch, you can immediately see the difference. The Domin8r X uses 4 bolts to hold the motor onto the frame, whereas this other winch only uses 2. And compare how it seals. The cheap and nasty winch doesn't have anything. There are obvious gaps where the bolts mount that would allow water straight in to corrode the components inside. The motor housing on the low quality winch is definitely not waterproof. The Domin8r X uses a waterproof gasket, so you know it'll seal properly. The rotor inside the motor uses significantly smaller diameter copper windings, which means it'll handle much less current. Plus it only uses permanent magnets. The listing does say that this winch is series wound, but you can clearly see that it's not, whereas the Domin8r X uses a series wound motor. Permanent magnet motors are really only useful for light applications as they tend to overheat. Series wound motors are ready for heavy duty applications because they have more power and torque and they won't wear out as quickly. And have a look at the difference in thickness of the motor and gearbox housings. When your winch is fully loaded up, which of these would you trust? Finally, compare the remote controls. The Domin8r X uses an all-in-one wired and wireless remote. Simply unscrew the lead, press the button, and you're ready to go. It's tough, rugged, and fits perfectly in your hand. Compare it to the remote controls you get in this other winch. As you've seen, it's important to be careful when buying winches from some online auction sites. They promise you great products, but when you really compare them, they don't stand up to the high quality gear you get from Adventure Kings.